let me warn you before I say this, but he Googled, can you throw away body parts? And you're probably wondering how the hell his defense attorney is going to convince a jury he didn't murder his wife. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. Yesterday was day one of the Brian Walshe trial in Norfolk County, Massachusetts. They did opening statements, and then a police officer took the stand for the rest of the day. I haven't watched the full coverage yet, but what we were able to see was what the prosecution is putting forward for their case and how the defense plans on defending this man. So here's what we've got. Let me first tell you the players. The judge's name is Diane Frenieri, I think. I see it, and I want to pronounce it kind of in a French way. It's got a unique spelling, and I want to say Mademoiselle Diane Frenieri, but I don't think that's right. I am just trying to add some glamour to an otherwise really ugly case. I think it's Diane Frenieri. Let's just call it that. Defense attorney is a man named Larry Tipton. This is being prosecuted by ADA Greg Connor from the Norfolk County DA's office. Prosecutor Greg Connor gets up there yesterday and he says, here's my opening statement. Really simple. We've got cell phone location data that shows us all the places he went and how he lied to police about where he was that day and where his wife was. And we pulled all the CCTV video of him shopping at Lowe's and Home Depot and CVS and all these different places, and here's all the things he bought. They played recordings of Brian Walshe when police first approached him and started asking about his wife. They played the recordings of him lying and saying, oh yeah, well, she got on a plane and she left town and I haven't heard from her. And then they mentioned DNA. DNA and data, that's usually what wins you a case. That they found Anna's DNA on many of the items that were found in one of the dumpsters where they have video of Brian going to dump trash bags. They have a hatchet that ties to both of them. It's a hatchet that he bought at one of the stores, and then it has her DNA from blood and tissue on it, so they can connect kind of those things together. They talk about everything that was found in the home, how they found blood and tissue in the home. I mean, it's just the physical evidence in this case is pretty overwhelming. And so then you wonder, well, how is the defense going to defend this? And it wasn't what I expected, that's for sure. Brian Walshe has recently changed his plea. So he said all along he was not guilty of any of these charges. But pretty recently, probably within the last 10 days or so, he came back and he pleaded guilty to lying to police, and he pleaded guilty of illegally disposing of a body. So what they're saying is that, yes, he bought the hatchet, he bought the gloves, he bought the goggles, he bought the Tyvek suit, he bought all the rags, he cleaned up everything, and yes, he dismembered his wife, and he spread her belongings all over town. Yes, he did that. He did that. But where's the murder? That's their whole defense, is where's the murder? In fact, they claim there was no murder. It sounds like what Larry Tipton is setting us up for is that Anna went to bed that night and had some sort of medical emergency, that she just died all of a sudden. And when Brian Walshe went to get into bed, he knew something was wrong. She seemed very still. He nudged her once, she didn't respond. He nudged her again, she didn't respond. She had suddenly died, just suddenly died. Poof. And he was so worried that no one would believe that she died suddenly that he then went on a 4-day adventure of buying materials, learning how to get rid of her in the most vicious, vile, disgusting way, instead of just simply nudging, and then rolling over and calling paramedics and being like, holy fuck, I think my wife is dead. No, but that's the defense. They feel, honestly, that they can go into this and they can convince a jury. All they really need is one. They just need to convince one juror that there is a probability that she died on her own, and then he panicked. He's already admitted to the aftermath. He's already admitted to doing all of these horrible things to her, what he claims was dead body, but that he's not guilty of actually killing her. She died on her own. Now, I said in a previous video, some of the police that were involved in investigating this and collecting evidence were the same fucking dirtbags from the Karen Reed trial, right? Those Massachusetts State Proctor, Buchanan, Chico, Garino, all those fucking losers who have proven that they are absolutely unreliable when it comes to collecting evidence in a fair and accountable way. So all you need is one juror. All you need is one juror that hears the name Michael Proctor and goes, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't like the police. I don't agree that this department's corrupt. Something. All you need is one. All you need is one to believe that Brian Walshe crawled into his bed and his wife was already dead and he panicked. And the reason he would panic was a couple of things, right? And I hadn't talked about this in previous videos. It's known that Anna was having an affair. She was involved with another man. And my guess is that she was waiting for him to go to jail for the art fraud, which, yes, by the way, Brian Walshe was also on home confinement. He had already pleaded guilty in an art fraud case where he negotiated the sale of 2 Andy Warhol paintings. But then when the time came to hand over the paintings, he handed over fakes, forgeries, duplicates, whatever you call them, and was caught. And so he said, yep, I'm guilty of this. He has to pay restitution. And he was on home confinement while he was waiting for his sentencing. So he was already on home arrest and he was already being forced to track all of his locations and report his schedule for the day and all of that. So I think that, like, Anna knows he's probably going to be sentenced to some jail time for that. It's probably country club prison, but he's probably going to go away. She's met somebody else, so there is probably this opportunity. As soon as he goes away, she takes the kids and she goes and she's with this new man. That would be my guess. Brian Walshe probably knew that, and so it makes it look like he's got a motive to kill his wife. Plus, he's already going to go to jail for art fraud, and it probably scares the shit out of a cushy, soft, little pathetic man like him. But imagine if you had a murder charge. The fact that he pleaded guilty to illegally disposing of a body is nothing more, I think, than a strategic play. They want to remove basically all the evidence, because that's all the evidence you have. You have evidence of him dismembering and disposing. But where's the evidence of the murder? I have to admit, it's a pretty good legal ploy. I do. I think it's a pretty good French strategy. I think he still stands a pretty low chance of being found not guilty. But again, you just need one juror that thinks these cops are corrupt or the search was illegal or something. This is just day one. It's very compelling. Please keep coming back.